Porsche is a brand that's deeply rooted in tradition and held to a high standard. The 911 is a living example. From its conception to present, its design has remained largely the same and remains to be one of the all-time greats. So when the folks at Stuttgart dive into something new, you know they ought to do it well. For instance, their first SUV, the Cayenne, was met with major apprehension in 2002 by the brand's faithful enthusiasts. But at the time of its launch, it was actually praised to be better than its rivals, and journalists called it a true Porsche, and remains to be the best seller in their lineup. The Taycan was their first ever EV, yet again was met with pushback from purists, but the Super Saloon was hailed as a proper Porsche and even bagged itself Car of the Year from Top Gear UK, World Luxury Car, and World Performance Car of the Year from the World Car of the Year Awards in 2020. Safe to say, it was a hit. And now they've taken their expertise in creating an SUV and EV into this. The 2025 Macan Electric. Is the transition into full EV for the Macan nameplate a step in the right direction? Find out on this episode of Behind the Wheel. Let's begin with numbers. Now this is the Macan 4. It's got two electric motors, one up front and one at the rear. Together, you get 381 horses, but you can boost it all the way up to 401 horses because it's got launch control. And then get this, it's got a whopping 650 Newton meters of torque. Insane numbers from a variant that isn't even the fastest of the bunch. That would go to the Macan Turbo Electric, and that has 630 horses and 1,130 Newton meters of torque and can launch from 0 to 100 in just 3.3 unbelievable seconds. For more information, availability, and pricing, head on over to AutoDeal.com.ph to help connect you to a Porsche dealership, and the good folks at PGA would be glad to help you out. The claimed range of the Macan 4 is quite impressive, 624 kilometers, and you get that from a 100 kilowatt hour battery. If left to an 11 kilowatt charger, it'll take roughly about 10 hours to bring it from 0 to 100%. Now at full max speed, with as fast of a charger as you can find, it'll take only about 21 minutes to get this sucker from 10 to 80%. And that is lightning quick. So it's not just fast on its wheels, but it's fast to charge too. Its look closer resembles the Taycan than the outgoing ICE Macan. It's got the signature 4-point DRL up on top, and your headlights actually sit down below. Overall, the front clip is very smooth and understated, but it carries itself with some gusto. Look at me, I've arrived in a Porsche. Look at yourself, no Porsche. And back at me, pretty much I will have no Porsche also later because we have to return this car in a bit. Damn it. On the side, you have 20s as standard, though this pattern is not really my favorite if I'm being honest. Though it's pretty cool because the front wheels are wrapped in 235 55s and the rears are wrapped in 285 45s. Ample rubber for all that power. The Macan 4 that is available locally comes with air suspension, so you can set the ride height to your needs. Like if you want to get some spirited driving in, setting it to Sport Plus lowers the car to get you closer to the road. If terrain gets a bit hairy, then in off-road mode, it finds itself to max ground clearance of 225 millimeters. On normal mode, it settles to 185 millimeters. At the rear, it's very streamlined and smooth yet again. There also is active aero here that opens up depending on the situation, or you can just keep it up if you want to. It's like a door from Star Trek. Yes, Captain. I'm giving it all she's got, Captain. Also, for convenience, you have two charging points, one on either side of the vehicle, two AC ports and one DC port. The DC port obviously is on the left-hand side. Can we steal this door, Jack, and just like
and put it on your Montero?
Yeah.
It's not even possible.
Can we rip this out? There is a total of 540 liters of space available in the Macan 4. Now you can maximize it by removing the tonneau, and you can definitely fit the balikbayan box in there with overnight luggage. If you were to fold the seats, which you can by using the levers on the right and on the left side of the vehicle to tumble them over, then you're looking at over 1,000 liters of space. We can fit a heck of a lot more balikbayan boxes. And for convenience, not only is there a socket here in the back, but there's also buttons that you can play around with the air suspension, which means that you can lower the vehicle, making it sort of like a kneeling bus, and you can load stuff a heck of a lot easier. Perfect for under tall people like myself. And if the rear is not enough, you also have an 84-liter frunk, which is good enough really for like our camera bag, and it also houses the early warning device and your first aid kit or your verbandachi or premier c'est quoi? Voulez-vous coucher avec c'est quoi? Number one, frameless doors. Amazing. Number two, comfortable seats. Very nice thigh support, good amount of leg room, and surprising a lot of headroom too. Now considering that this has a lower roof line than the internal combustion engine Macan, but since it's an EV, you sit a little bit lower, hence, look at this. That's a lot, man. Plus toys. Check this out. You've got two air vents here for the left and the right. No, I'm never going to say that again. But not only do you have air vents, but you have direct, or rather blower controls, how strong it is, temperature controls, and then directional control. Look at that. Oh my goodness. It's like Star Trek. Oh, not to mention, there are also two Type C charging points found here underneath. And then also a center armrest with two cup holders. And of course, it's a baby safe car because it has ISOFIX anchors right there. Also, part one of two why this is a Kako spec vehicle. Regardless of how expensive or affordable a car may be, in the Philippines, I don't see the need for a panoramic roof or a sunroof, and there is none here, which means the rigidity of the car is actually much stronger. I like it. It works for me. But what gets me really in the back is you tend to forget that this is an EV because you're thinking it's a performance vehicle because it's a Porsche. But no, it is most definitely an EV, and the rear seats of EVs are surprisingly comfortable and large, and that's, yeah. Jack, do you fit back behind my driving position?
I think the answer is yes.
If he sits, he fits.
If he fits, he sits.
Same difference, Earl.
It's the wrong way round. You know, if you like the fact that it doesn't have a sunroof, you're gonna love this.
What?
Pull up the window switch.
The window's up already.
Call it out. Just pull it up.
But it's up already. Shut the front door! No way! I guess asking for one of those things here would have been a bit much, right? Yeah. None for the driver or the front passenger. But just because you don't have the extra shade doesn't mean that you're going to be lacking at any point, because these seats are some of the most customizable seats in terms of position that I've ever been in any car. There are so many settings, like you can go up and down, you can tilt your butt down or up and leave the leg support up, or the thigh support rather. You can extend the thigh support by moving it forward, just the thigh support. So for taller people like Jack, he won't have any issues. For shorter people like myself, I bring it back. It's just, there are so many ways to customize this thing. It's redonkulous, man. You can even extend or retract the headrest. Look at this. Look at that. Look at, my goodness. Even the steering wheel is powered, which it can move itself into memory position. Like if I go to number 1, this should be like Jack's driving position, right? Are you number 1 or number 2?
1.
Number 1. Wow. Jack is a very large, hey, look at it, it's moving. The instrument cluster is a nice huge screen that's curved, and it's got 3 circles, which kind of mimics that of the 911. The steering wheel feels good to the touch. You've got drive modes on the steering wheel itself. No piano blacks on the steering wheel, which is good. And you got your buttons for your audio and your trip computer and whatnot, including your cruise control here on the lower side. The second part of why this car makes it a nice Kako automobile is that the cruise control on this base model is not adaptive cruise. It's just normal cruise control. That works for me. There's two screens, one as your infotainment and the second screen is entertainment, I guess, for your front passenger. You obviously have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on this vehicle, but importantly, they are both wireless, which is cool. And don't worry, you don't feel like you're ever gonna get distracted because this second screen, once you actually start driving, it dims in a certain manner that I can't see it at all. The only one that can see it will be the front passenger, which is actually pretty cool. Underneath the climate and audio controls is a lot of space, really, where you'll find your Type-C charging points. There's two of them in a 12-volt socket. I don't want to stick my finger in there. And you can also fit Jack's extremely large bottle underneath. That's how much space there is there. And then add to that, there are also two cup holders in the center. And then just behind that, you have your center armrest that's relatively deep. Oh, and because people like to see it, sorry, it's in a plastic because we're trying to keep it as clean and safe as possible, is the key to the Macan 4. However cool everything in this cabin is, my absolute favorite is the simplest thing in the center, which is this. It's a digital yet analog clock, and it's so cute, just like the doors on the charging compartments. I want to rip them out and take them home and put them in my Montero. But we can't, so we won't. But what we will do is go out for a drive. Before we do, however, consider subscribing to our channel because we need all of your subscriptions to be able to pay for my German lessons. I'm trying to speak. Sprechen Sie Deutsch!
That was pretty good.
Nein. And we're good. Okay. Foot on brake, accelerator to full throttle. I gotta put it in drive first. I keep making that mistake. Foot on brake, full throttle, launch control activated. Oh. Maybe I should slow down. Woo! And it's not just in a straight line either, though, because the all-wheel drive system of the Macan 4, well, you've got a motor up front and a motor at the rear, goes really, really well when you're taking it through the bends, and it really sticks. And it's just a joy to drive. It's unbelievable. Look at the amount of grip we're getting out of this thing. And it's not as if I'm going slow. We're doing 72 kilometers per hour on a turn. Sharp uphill, and Jack and I sound like we're really having a hard time, but we're really not. It's just our bodies that are being pushed by the G-force, but the steering is just very, very sharp. You'd expect this type of steering from, honestly, a smaller car where it's point and go. You don't expect it from, well, what Porsche calls an SUV, but you still, it's right there. Watch this, Jack. I'm gonna turn it and...
Oh, it even rotates. That's sick.
Oh my gosh.
That's sick.
The air suspension works really, really well, mitigates body roll, body control is very, very good. And then when you pop it out of sports and get into normal mode, it raises it up a little bit. I will say that the suspension handles larger bumps pretty good. It's the smaller, sharper bumps that you kind of feel like it's jarring you a little bit inside the cabin because, well, it is sport suspension after all. But yet, even with the sport suspension, it's acceptable because, well, that's what the car is, right? It's a sporty SUV / crossover. Oh, and also to add, we're also on 20s. So, and the Jack did tell me just now, there is an option with 22s. Can you imagine the grip level of that? The matagtag level, yes, but can you imagine the grip level of that? Rolling on the highway as we are now, it's very quiet and it's very, very comfortable. The amount of insulation that they put on this car is amazing because you don't hear the road at all and you don't hear the wind at all. Like even at 96 kilometers per hour. Do you hear anything? I got nothing, nada, zip, zilch, zero. Everything around you inside this cabin while you're driving or as a passenger just feels substantial, you know, from the weight of the steering wheel to the feel of the interior to the seats and how you position yourself, the quietness of the cabin. Everything is just, it feels like everything in here is purposeful, and I like that. It has meaning to it, and it just feels good to be inside this car driving it. If you're looking for a driver-centric EV crossover that is at the pinnacle of its game, then look no further than this Macan 4. However, it must be said that the price tag is also quite at the pinnacle or at the peak because, well, I'll be honest with you, it ain't cheap. But if you've got the pockets for it, please give us an email, a call, a text, or whatnot on our social media because Jack and I would love to go to the dealership and watch you spend your money. This truly is a super premium experience. It really is, without a doubt. But to be honest, you can do that with any car so long as you throw enough money at it. The difference of what this car can do that those can't is how it feels to drive. I mean, the acceleration is not going to get you because it's an EV. We're all kind of used to that. But the sharpness of the steering, the control of the suspension, you really don't expect it from this type of a crossover, and it really is a lot of fun. This is actually our very first Porsche on behind the wheel, so we are by no means the experts to be able to tell you whether it drives like a true Porsche or not. But that being said, we understand why there are so many people that are in love with this brand, because the truth is, there's really nothing like it. Nothing.